Otis Rush, man, he's one of the titans, one of the on the Mount Rushmore of blues guitar. Otis Rush is really one of my biggest, the people I aspire the most to be like. He's a very interesting cat. He even has several, of periods of his life and career where he had like distinctively different sounds. He even went through phases where he didn't even sound like himself. but there's a definite, Otis Rush sound that comes to mind when I think of Otis Rush. Particularly, I'm a particularly big fan of his stuff from the late 60s, early 70s, when he was on the Cotillion label, and the album Right Place, Wrong Time. He did great stuff before that on Cobra Records and even Chess, and after that too. I mean, the guy has always sounded great. But those late 60s Otis Rush records, his guitar playing and his singing on those really just captured me. As I've probably said in many other videos, it was hearing him play the song "Feel So Bad" from the album "Morning in the Morning," and just on the radio and hearing this little, hearing him play that lick with that intense vibrato he had, that short spurt of blue. It was like an electric shock to me, and ever since then, I've been, I've just been a huge follower of Otis Rush, I'll talk about some of the different aspects of his style. For one thing, he was a left-handed man, and he played the guitar upside down. So basically, you just grab my guitar, flip it left-handed, and play it like that. He had the strings, in reverse order. He had the bass strings were closer to his feet. The way he played, and some speculate that that's why his vibrato was different. That's why his bends are, in a certain way. But to me, I mean, it's of less consequence. I think. I've searched, very intensely for to be able to produce my own version of his sound, and just some might say to some extent that that I've been able to get there. His vibrato is most of all the thing that really sets him apart. It's kind of it's a little wide, a little bit slow, but with a lot of, sometimes it's real fast, but there's just this unique quality to it that just sounds like woo, almost like an opera singer. That's quite elusive. His whole touch is quite unlike anybody else. Early on he had the song "All Your Love I Miss Lovin'," where you have chords like he does these chords. He was really one of the real kings of minor key blues. Otis Rush playing on a minor key blues that's about as good as it'll get in my book. He also has, like many guitar players I like, there's kind of a surface version of Otis Rush, and there's just like there is with Chuck Berry and them other guys, and there's and if you dig deeper, there's also there's a layer to Otis Rush's playing that harbors a number of really weird idiosyncrasies and just unique licks, and a gold mine of of stuff that you will hear literally nobody else play. You know, he was he was a pretty eccentric guy, Otis Rush, and you can tell by some of the stuff he played that he would just think unlike anybody else. One thing I particularly like, I heard him playing one time. He would do a run like this. It almost sounds like a harp. It was on a slow blues in D. And he kind of just just lost himself in playing. There's a live footage of this. He just kind of loses himself in playing this harp-like figure, which is actually really hard to finger and really hard to play, especially in lower keys, and especially for other people that don't have long fingers like me. He just would, he would randomly start really focusing on these unusual things, and it made me, made him extra awesome to me. Like, for instance, I've heard him also on the blues. For some reason now, talking about Otis Rush and I'm thinking about Otis Rush right now and talking about him, and when I look at the guitar strung regularly, it looks upside down to me. It looks wrong. I don't know, but I think he's really occupying my brain right at this moment, which is not a bad place to be if you want to be a blues guitar player. I also seen him do stuff like he'll tremolo pick a note. For like a whole 12 bars. And he's got sunglasses on, you can't see what he's thinking, but then eventually he'll resolve it, and it'll be just this amazing effect when he finally does resolve it, because he builds up so much tension by playing the same note. And he's a great blues man, Otis Rush. He's just so not afraid to be unusual. He's very unique, and that's what we all should strive to be. Especially in something as formulated as blues. You got to have something that makes you truly unique. And Otis Rush had several things. His tone. He had early on. He played a Fender Stratocaster on the Cobra records, and he was kind of one of the guys that established a Fender Stratocaster as a, big-time badass blues guitar. Later, you see him a lot of times with an Epiphone. It looks like a Gibson ES335, which he also played later on. But my favorite stuff with him was he plays the he plays the Epiphone Riviera, which is a Gibson-style semi-hollow body. And he had the top of the headstock was sawed off. It was just straight right there, so that it would fit in his bag. That's why he sawed it off. But I like his tone on that, and it's totally different from a Stratocaster tone. Then for a while, he played a Fender Jaguar and had a totally unique tone on that. And he's He's just the kind of guy who he will change, but he's completely unmistakably the same. So that's I think that's something for everybody who plays blues to aspire to. So I recommend you check out anything you can by Otis Rush. In particular, the record "Right Place, Wrong Time" and the record "Morning in the Morning." I like. And all the Cobra stuff he did. And also there's an album by a man named Mr. Jimmy Dawkins, who I got to meet. I actually did get to meet Otis Rush too. He was very nice. There's a Jimmy Dawkins record called All for Business. which features Otis Rush on second guitar. And I'm afraid it was kind of a bad call on Jimmy Dawkins' side because it's like the best Otis Rush has ever sounded, which in turn means it's the best anyone's ever sounded playing the blues. So that's another record you should check out if you want to get into Otis Rush. I'm going to see if I can't put a little Otis Rush into my playing on this next track here.